Hello and welcome. This is going to be the Daily Dharma. My name is Dina. Thank you so much for joining today. I just completed the Daily Dharma and I did have these messages laid out in advance, and then I had two, I'll call them mistakes. And then I did a full recording. I did the full thing. And the whole time I kept feeling like I needed to just be more concise, because there's energy here about how we utilize our energy, how we overthink, how we can be indirect, and how we need to settle our energies before expressing something fully. And so I think I'm going to just restart right from the beginning. So let's take a minute and synchronize our energies and take a few deep breaths. During the first video, we were talking about how you may want to make a vocalization when you do this type of stretching. So go ahead and take some deep breaths and let that sheesh go. Whew. And for some of you, it may be important to lift up and release and come back down and bring that energy back up through the body and really kind of fluff up your aura in a few motions here. So go ahead and intend that any fears, anxieties, or dramas accompanying you at this moment just get passed through the sacred smoke, released, and uplifted through the transmutational powers that be here. And let's get going. So in light of the messages, I do want to be as concise as possible. We've got a lot of energies that were discussed about. We've got Mercury and Mars having their retrograde phases coming up, and we're moving into the full moon in Gemini, which puts the moon in Gemini and the sun in the sign of Sagittarius. And the sign of Sagittarius is where Mercury is going to be doing its retrograde phase, turning direct just prior to the full moon in Sag. And so Sagittarius is a busy part of the sky. We have the galactic center over there at 27 degrees approximately, and the sun, moon are going to be at 24 degrees approximately. And then Mercury will be stationing direct right around the 6th, 7th degree of Sag. And so the opposite sign of Gemini is talking. It's communication. Gemini is the twins, Castor and Pollux, the light and the dark. And so it can be the self speaking into the mirror. And this seems to be taking the direction, a bit of a different direction. But so I think that is an important realization here. So, okay, in Gemini, we have retrograding Jupiter, the biggest planet in the heavens, and that's at about 15 degrees. And Jupiter is actually pretty highly aspected and challenged, I would say, by various forces in the skies. And we also have, again, the moon there at about the 24th degree at the full moon. And so this is bringing in powerful internalized emotions and subconscious realms at the time leading up into the full moon, which is a time of release. And so we've got recognition of things that inspire with the Sagittarian energies. And we've got the great attractor over there at about 14 degrees, 11 minutes, which is just about directly across from retrograding Jupiter. And so the great attractor versus the emotional waters. So the great attractor being aspected by anything is going to accelerate our magnetism. And if you know anything about the law of attraction, it's wherever our attention flows, that's where wherever our attention goes, then that's where the energy is going to flow, because we're putting our focus on that. That's what we're observing on the quantum. Then the timeline collapses in that direction. And so we're talking about the extreme emotions and how emotions settle or sit in the body, and how we need to move beyond that in some type of a way. And with the two retrograding Mars and Mercury, that is behavior and being assertive or motivated, and our ability to speak, to communicate, and to think appropriately, our intuition, even. And I mean, we could go on with what they could represent also, but based on the reading here, we have the throat chakra out here twice from two different decks, and some other elements here too. So where we started this out before was, don't let your ego get in the way. And even with the restarts, it was like, not only can ego be where we puff ourselves up and think, oh, well, I'm the best, I'm the bestest, the greatest, no one's ever been better than me, it's the whatever, very hyperbole, but then the ego can also be like, oh, well, nobody wants to listen to me, or, people don't really understand what I'm talking about, or I'd better, just be real kind about this in case people are sensitive, or maybe I should speak about this in this type of a way. It's how do we put filters on our words, and in all of our, hustling around to put all these little bows and bells and whistles on that very concise message, how are we then unable to even hear the message that's hidden within all of the shiny, sparkling things? It's like, we're blinded by all the sparkle and the glitter and all of the extraneous that becomes in that gets in the way. And so how are we blocking understanding in some type of a way? And the biggest message here is that we're having a lot of upgrades. We're having quite a rebirth of our energies, and it's been ongoing for a long time. And it's just accelerating throughout this whole year. This has been an extreme year of leveling up and ascension type symptoms. And so I'm sensing that for some, there may be some digestive anomalies, or inability to process some type of situation, or what's being asked of us or demanded of us, or how can we effect change, or how can we get to where we want to go? How can we manifest the outcome that we feel in at the soul level that we're compelled to bring about in this world? And so let's get on with it here. So don't let your ego get in the way. Okay, one last thing. There's a lot of group energy here too, because if we're talking about communicating, we already understand everything that we understand and know everything that we know. And so communication is not only about looking in the mirror and telling our Gemini messages out there to the world, but it's about the way that the mirror shines that light back at us. And so there's something here about how we are able to, once we've surpassed and integrated something that's been holding us back, or obscuring the way forward, or making it seem like we don't have the resources that we actually have, or discounting the skills that we bring to the table, perhaps. Once we've kind of surpassed some of these lessons here, it's like we're able to really call forth the magic from within ourselves. And it started talking about how then within the group, everybody starts finding their automatic niche, their like we were speaking in the first reading about somebody who is loud and aggressive might be really great in certain fields and certain company, but then if you put them in as a kindergarten teacher, the kids might not be real receptive to that person. But, you know, on the flip side, you have this really awesome, compassionate teacher that's really good at nonverbal communication and expressive communication and understanding what the children need and how to deliver a message intuitively and to support and uplift. And if you stuck that person in a different situation where it was like the New York Stock Exchange or some corrupt political climate, then that individual is going to be really not thriving, right? And so it talks about how we bring forth what we do and don't have. And so it's talking quite a bit about the lunar nodes. And so if that's something that you've looked at in your charts, think about the signs and the houses that those are contained in. And right now, the lunar nodes are right around, speaking of the chart at the time of the full moon in Gemini, the nodes are at about 3 degrees of Aries north node, and Libra is the south node here. And that's talking about our north node of destiny collectively is to shine our own personal light into this world, to become autonomous and assertive and to blaze our own trail in some type of a way. But the south node tells us, but don't forget that your power is limited perhaps by the needs of the group, because the group, if you're not relevant to their needs, then they're not going to listen to the message. Or if you're going in a different direction and they all want to go this way, then you're just it was coming across as, you know, beating your own drum in a soundproof room, and the sound cannot escape that environment. And so there's some type of a way, either through delivery or too much glitter or too much preoccupation with delivery or something else, that it needs to be focused and made into a more consolidated message. And so maybe you need to break things down into segments in that way. So let's read this again now in light of the nodal aspects of where we're coming from, where we're growing into, and also that everybody else is also doing this too. And if I didn't say so, and the idea that the ego is also part of our earthly nature, that is part of our, it's part of our body. It's the vessel that contains and is that 3D printer that channels the resources of all inspiration and guidance and other reflective energies, and then transforms them into vibrational resonance through thought, form, and belief, and influences out into manifestation. And so we're being taught here by the universe how to rebirth ourselves and how to bring forth what has been kind of rattling around. It's like, have you ever had something where you get like a stone stuck in, like, let's talk about like old school piggy banks, like you couldn't get the bottom off and there's like this one coin in there and you can't shake it out the coin slot because it won't turn to get through, and it has to be oriented in a specific way, because if you've got a slot like this and the quarter keeps flapping on it like this, it's not going to come out through that hole, right? It's not that it's too big, it's that it's not oriented in the correct way to pass through the portal. And so there's something that is being rebirthed and brought forward. And so it's this turquoise lotus mother tells us it may be something with the divine feminine, whether it's our earthly mother, Mother Gaia, the needs of ecological environmental factors or needs of the vulnerable populations, children, and so on, something such as that. But it's also to see ourselves and to be gentle with ourselves and to not overthink what coulda, woulda, shoulda, or well, I should have said this, or well, I screwed up, or I failed because of da 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 da. Instead of seeing ourselves as failures, see these things as the stepping stones that they are going into the coming phase. So again, let's get started here. So don't let the ego get in the way. Getting your ego under control can be one of your biggest challenges, especially in relationships or in communicating messages, right? If you're good at something, that's wonderful. If you have weaknesses, then so be it. Don't worry too much about what others think of you. Your actions will show that you are what you believe yourself to be. Be yourself, believe in yourself. So keep going, but there's a need to also reassess the extraneous and to simplify and to cleanse and purify the pure divine essence and to release at the time, especially of this full moon in Gemini, to release any type of miscommunication style or obscuring what we truly want or think or believe, and to fully bring that forward from ourselves and to manifest it into our experience. Sun Tzu said, "The general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his country and to do good service for his sovereign, is the jewel of the kingdom." And so somebody here may be gaining some type of prominence, or maybe somebody is taking a shine to somebody within a group or within a structure or some type of, even we could be talking politically as well with kingdom here in the climate in the US and otherwise. There's all kinds of challenges to systems and things of that nature. And so we're talking here about somebody who is doing it for the right reasons and who's also not a sore loser or a sore winner, and whose integrity speaks for itself through consistent behavior and so on. So in this matter, especially within the groups, whether that's family, friends, colleagues, political or otherwise, in this situation, expect the best, but certainly always be prepared for the worst. We don't want to do nothing and then come up empty-handed at the end of the day. It's like, why do we save for retirement our whole lives? Because we don't know what the future holds, and so we prepare well. A positive outlook is great, but it's also important to prepare for problems that might occur along the way, especially ego conflicts and how we can appropriately manage without leaving people feeling judged or feeling that they are not really picking up what you're putting down. So sometimes you may find yourself caught up in a difficult situation. If it's not worth fighting, just simply back out. If it is, prepare well and definitely stabilize your energy so that you can approach that from a very contained and empowered perspective to bring forth everything that you need to come up with, to present your case appropriately and fully so that you don't leave feeling that not everything was able to be said. To do it right the first time if you can. And then also we were comparing it in the first one to a dance, like, well, this is my idea, blah, 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 blah. And then somebody else can say, oh, well, hi, I heard you saying this, tell me more about this because I'm not sure. And then you can say, well, let me correct this, that isn't what I intended. Let me clarify. And then the other person says, okay, yeah, I see this, but this is how I would also add in my perspective. And then we can have dialogue here. And there's actually the integration of duality, which is that mirroring prospect, and also the respecting our reflection. So some of you may also, in part of your preparation in dealing with somebody, there may be a difficult uh, separation energy that needs to be communicated, or something such as that, where you need to maybe boost yourself up in advance, or putting in for a promotion, or speaking to your boss about something inappropriate, or so on. It's like doing those affirmations, even unto yourself. And this comes up quite often. If you're somebody who accidentally has these subconscious lower thought forms or beliefs, or self um, beating yourself up in advance or afterwards of situations, it's important to really interrupt the flow of anything that doesn't serve you, and to correct that, to know what your north node and south node are both bringing in. It's like with that Aries Libra polarity there, again, Aries wants to be assertive and autonomous, but it needs to be relevant to the group. And so if we were to flip that, for instance, if it were the opposite, it's like needing to compromise and work together with the group would be a very um, difficult task for somebody to grow into, if they were used to just being overly independent and self-sufficient. And so we can look at how people are good at some things and not good at others, and not expect and demand too much from the individual, as this says in the next one. Um, so the clever combatant looks to the effect of combined energy and does not require too much from any one individual, or oneself even. Don't carry the group if it's meant to be helped. And then your ability to pick out the right men and utilize combined energy is exponential. So preparing for the worst here, but expecting the best. Yeah, come up with a game plan and prepare well. List all the possible actions, and then plan your counter moves in advance. And then that helps you to be bulletproof. So, again, with the long, lengthy readings, so again, we've got this rebirth and the need to be gentle with oneself, and to uplift what you were truly doing, and to see the stepping stones that were the lessons in the past, to grow and expand and uplift the inner child of self and other is divine at this time. And it may talk about a legacy here with the turquoise lotus mother, and later the she of the lotus kind of looks like this daughter of the phoenix energy again. And I was seeing too, this Tai Chi rising looks so much like this infinite energy. And we're talking again about being a divine channel for the uplifting energy of universal love and universal life force energy. So we've got these upgrades, these changes going on at the gut level, the gut instincts, and uh, it's the body's intuition and self-care and self-speak, and moving beyond shame and guilt that are blocking part of our belongingness and our creative essence. She of the Lotus is coming out with divine masculine and universal love. And so being able to take all of the wisdom and all that we are, and instead of wasting energy just tooting our own horn in the wrong direction because we're caught up in an ego thing over here, or maybe something to prove, or something that only is very specific over there, whatever it might be. It's like the universal love force energy wants us to be able to utilize that energy to make a strong impact, but something that is worthwhile and kind and uplifting, and serves the not only bringing forth all of the energy and the magic from within self, but doing that in a way that brings it forth from the group. And so it's like, again, with the nodes, the group against the individual against the group. And so it's like, can we witness our own ego within the group and then transcend that to make it through the portal in this way? So yeah, I don't remember if I held this up in this reading or before, but it's under this shine your light, this is after having figured out some type of thing about what we truly bring to the group and being able to stand in our own divine masculine, empowered in understanding that uh, it's about we're not only here because we have the right to express, we have almost the responsibility to express and to push and influence the world here, because that's what we're here doing, is to be interpreters and conduits for energies to take up manifestation. And so it's our responsibility to clear out the ego and to help the group get back into its divine intentions, to help as a midwife for the energy of the collective right now to get back into operating from love, acting in integrity, in kindness. And so under Shine Your Light, we have root chakra, crown chakra, magic, emergence, synergy, belief, allowance, and divine feminine. And so this is that, again, calling forth the belief, allowing our magic to actually be shown and seen and witnessed without all of the obscurities and fears and anxieties that just really clog up and contort and confuse the message. The simplicity of what it really is asking is just to be yourself and to be in your energy and just let that go, to just let it rip on some level. So this last energy is like from that Merkaba expansion, that Tai Chi rising, the Shakti rising energy. It's like then from that stable rooted base, the energy surpasses perhaps the portal of the crown energy of our previous understanding in some previous limitation of our communication potential into communication with the beyond that level, with the Kundalini energy that comes through the crown and traverses the cosmos. It's that snake-like energy here shown as a dragon. Again, north node, south node energy coming forward, the dragon's head and tail. Where are we coming from? Where are we going to? And how does that help us to transcend the lessons and unlock the potential of our nodal access here in this time and space? And it's something about our ability to be sensitive and vulnerable and to appreciate the sensitivities, vulnerabilities, and even, dare I say, the shortcomings and the weird, quirky nature of the individuals who complement and compete and challenge our energies on the daily. Coming out with vulnerability, we have throat chakra, soul time, solar plexus, and compassion. And so it's, again, letting that vulnerability really be expressed somehow vibrationally within the soul time of our own inner process, our own reevaluation process here happening with these retrograde energies and the world stage climates and all of these group dynamics. And to say that, see this as something that we can come back and influence in a compassionately creative way, to bring light and to shed cosmic light upon a dark situation, to then show others back towards the universal light. And so under the deck here we have Merkaba, communication, and passion, so that our passionate fires don't go out and create forest fires, but create a warming glow within the environment that doesn't destroy, but just alchemizes, if you can tell what I'm meaning here. So let's go ahead and get a few of these came out. Love Where You Are, 24, about being present, not bringing the past anxieties and or fears of the future into this present moment, but to just truly appreciate when and where you are and how this moment serves you to develop you and to call forth some type of vibrational like a battle cry type, or a something that has been laying coiled up within you, just yearning to be released. And it's like, if we can do some kind of movement and voice, letting our voice or our pitches and tones speak through us, I believe that we're able to really unlock something and surpass something that had been hidden previously. So, love where you are. Use your sensitivity to know when to act and how to act, perhaps, that compassion. Connect your heart to your head when determining what it is that you would like. And so this ego energy is obscuring something, some type of why are we doing something, or why are they doing something? It's because there's a hidden need. It doesn't need to be an agenda, but there are needs. Everybody has needs. And so how can we proactively help others to achieve and accomplish their desired outcomes without compromising the agendas and the needs of the greater good and the whole? Persistent drive, number 11, stay the course and stay focused. See what it is that you desire in that case and move towards that goal. It's time to zero in on your purpose and to use your intuition and instincts to guide you for the optimal outcome. These upgrades in the sacral chakra is like our gut instincts and leading us forward into what the body is showing us. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it indifferent? The body is speaking to us. And if you are fighting off a cold or something, that's another message, right? And 21, enjoy the journey. Again, stay present and flexible. Many changes are coming and going on for you and around you. These changes are not only good, but necessary. Bring your awareness into the now rather than focusing on the past or upon the future in this case. So there's a lot of energy there about understanding that things have a way of working out, and our energy is dissipated when we spend too much time trying to correct the past or trying to manipulate future outcomes. If we can understand the nature of the moment, that that's where the relevance is at, and that's where we need to go forward. So anything further about this before we're going to switch it up and we're just going to move forward with a second message today? Anything else here? We've got looking at the underbelly. Yeah, looking at the more difficult levels here to really get something worked out, washed out of the system. Be sure that you're using your time in the best possible manner. You might consider taking some time to get yourself organized. Maybe a project that you're working on could also use some fine tuning, or your communication style, or the platform, or the topics. Number 7, dancing in the rainbow. Good. See, there's something that we are moving through. It's like there's a divine message and we're being utilized in such a way as a conduit of spirit, and we just need to figure out what it is. And I believe that part of this is tapping